All right. Well, welcome back, everybody. Dennis here from Train Athletic. And today we're talking about the easiest way to get fit. And so, what we're going to talk about is aerobic fitness. We're going to get a little bit into the science of mitochondrial biogenesis. So, I'll explain what that means. And the reason I want to talk about this is because a lot of times when I talk to people who are interested in coming into the gym, they often say, well, I'm going to need a few weeks to get in shape first, right? They have this idea that they need to get fit before working out, before doing strength training or what they perceive as rigorous training. Now, I will say this, that's actually not true. If anybody wants to come to the gym, I just start them where they're at. You'll be fine. But there's a sentiment there that I understand, and I've matured in my views on how to handle things. I used to just think like, silly person, I just need to convince them that they're wrong and just trust me, come in. But what I realize is that I can still help a lot of people, and maybe some of those folks will never come and see me ever anyway, but there's a lot that I can offer them in the way of getting fit, and they are looking for that. And I see so many people go wrong. So, and it's staying on that same train of thought. So, like those folks, usually when they say, "Well, I'm going to take like 4 weeks to get in shape to come see you," it's like, "Okay, cool. What are you going to do?" And they're like, "Well, I'm going to go do P90X or some Brazilian boot camp or whatever it is." It's like, a DVD. Those things are super hard. They're very intense, right? And so right off the bat, it's like I understand what they're trying to do, and they're actually jumping into something more difficult, even though it's just body weight. It's really pretty intense, and it's not getting them the desired outcome that they actually need. And there is something that they could do that would actually benefit them coming into the gym, and it'll actually benefit everybody, even if you're in the gym already, no matter what stage of the game you're at. And what that is increasing your aerobic fitness base. So this is a very, very simple formula, but it does require time. And that is the only caveat, right? Because everything's comes with a trade-off. Otherwise, it's too good to be true. So I'll get right to the punchline, and then I'll explain the science behind why. So the punchline is we need to spend more time walking or jogging or somewhere in between there, like a fast power walk or a very slow jog. That is the aerobic zone. What people get wrong when they're trying to improve their cardiovascular fitness, whether it be just because that they have a goal, like even if you had a goal for a marathon or a 5K or something, people almost always go about this wrong. Or if they have the goal to get fit, to come to the gym. And what they get wrong is they go too hard. We have this idea that to improve our fitness, we have to work really hard. Um, the hard part, the hard work is consistency and discipline. The physical work of improving your cardiovascular fitness and even your strength should be challenging, but never really that challenging, okay? Because it's all about building slowly over the long term. But here's what's cool about the cardiovascular fitness. It's actually really, really quick results if you go about it the right way. A strength journey, anybody can attest to this. It takes years, right? If we add 15, 20 pounds to our lifts in a year, we're psyched about it. But with a cardiovascular fitness journey, we can make real measurable changes in a couple of weeks. And on the cellular level, the changes that we're talking about are the mitochondria. So many of you have maybe have heard about mitochondria, and mitochondria, they call them the powerhouses of your cells, right? The powerhouse of your body. The Some people liken them to like little batteries. They're where energy exchange happens and where energy is produced in the cell. And so the analogy that I want to give with the mitochondria is I want you to think about a house. Let's say we have a new construction house, right? You're building a house, you've got the frame up. What do you do before you actually, put the walls up, put the roof on, and all that? You wire the house. But let's just say you were an amateur building your own house and you missed that step, right? And so now you've got this new house and you've got one outlet, okay? And now you're going to try and fix up all the modern technologies in your house from this one outlet. It's not going to work so well, right? I mean, it's going to be like daisy chain hell, right? It's going to be a major fire hazard if we're trying to get every appliance in our house running out of one wall outlet. Okay. And it also wouldn't matter how much energy you could actually bring into the house. You could literally plug into a volcano, you could plug into a nuclear power plant. We could hardline you into the sun, right? But if you're trying to harness that power through one outlet, you're not going to be able to run your house because it's just not the outlet's going to burst, right? Or something's going to happen. There's the wall's going to catch on fire. You just can't harness all that energy through one outlet. So that's how I want you to think about your mitochondria. Adding more outlets, adding more wiring into your house is going to allow you to bring more energy into your house to do all the things that you want to do, right? Again, if we could hardwire you into the sun, your limiting factor would just be how much, of your ability to harness that energy and route it to your devices. How capable are you of that? And so in this scenario, we can actually grow our outlets. We can improve our wiring, and that's what your mitochondria are. So when you train aerobic systems correctly, and I will tell you how to do that correctly and measurably, with every training session, you actually increase the size of your mitochondria. So that first initial outlet you have will actually grow in its capacity. In Japan, when I lived in Japan, we only had like microwaves that allowed for certain wattage. That was a lesson I had to learn quickly, because everything had to microwave a little bit longer to be cooked because the houses weren't set up for such high power energy that we have in the US. So first you're growing the capability of just even individual outlets or mitochondria, but you're also increasing their efficiency and you're increasing them in number. Okay, you can literally add more and more and more and more of these units, these batteries, these energy sources to your cellular structure throughout your body. They innervate your muscles and tissues and everything. And you do this through a certain style of aerobic training. And they will localize to the tissues that are being used. So you do want it to be full body. And as you do that, everything becomes easier. And so that's why there is actually merit to the person who wants to get in shape before they come in and work out with me. There is merit there. They're not wrong. Even though I want them to start and I'll be able to progress them, they will have a better time in the gym because they'll be recovering between sets better. They'll be dealing with lactic acid better. They will be recovering overnight better. And they will actually be getting more energy and also more blood, because when we train this way, that's going to train our mitochondria, we're also training our vascular system. So we'll be getting more blood vessels as well. Um, so we're getting more blood, more energy to the tissues while you work out and post-workout for recovery. So how do you do it? Okay. So with the advent of wearables, I'm I'm looking forward to the day where it's almost, I guess not mandatory, but where just everybody has a wearable, okay? Because it really instructs us on how to do this so well. And it's even really kind of kicked me in the ass and made me force to face how I've always been overtraining. Trying too hard will actually get you negative results. It will actually slow down, if not impair, your ability to progress. So the goal is to train in what's called zone 2. I've talked about zone 2 in previous classes. When we're talking about energy output, we have zones, right? So zone 1 is just like getting around, right? Moseying around the house, maybe even doing, like when I'm in the grocery store, just kind of stocking shelves, getting around. That's zone 1. Your breathing rate isn't really increasing. Your heart rate increases a bit. You're not, when you're at your resting heart rate, that's when you're sitting down, right? We're all striving to improve our resting heart rates, get us down into the 60s and the 50s. But when you're up moving around in zone 1, you're probably up in like the 80s, right? But your breathing isn't perceivably going up, your breathing rate. Zone 2 is where we increase that breathing rate, but we feel like we could go all day. So for some people, that's going to be a walk, and it's going to end at a walk. There'll be a range of slow walk to fast walk where you find your zone 2. It's increased breathing, but you can still have a conversation. Or if you close your mouth, you could maintain the breathing through the nose. It would be perceivably harder, but you can hold on and you can maintain breathing through the nose. If you couldn't have a conversation anymore, if you needed to open your mouth and really forcefully exhale, you can no longer breathe through the nose. You're crossing into a new threshold. You're crossing into zone 3. Heart rate wise, if we want to be perfectionists about this, the formula I like is 180 minus your age. So for me at 38, I would be training at about 142 beats per minute, heartbeats per minute. And that would be my max aerobic heart rate, okay? So if I went up to 143, I should start to feel that urge to open my mouth and breathe. It should start to feel a little bit more difficult to hold a conversation. And what's going to happen is once I start getting into that 150 beats per minute, my body's going to start producing blood lactate and lactic acid. My blood, my pH is actually going to start getting more acidic. This is important because we don't want our blood to get too acidic for too long. That could actually hurt mitochondria. Okay, so we want to keep it down in the zone. So it doesn't even have to be as high as 180 minus your age. It can be even below that, and we get the same benefits, okay? So on average, we want to be somewhere between 110 and probably 140 beats per minute. If you're a little bit younger, it's going to be a little bit higher. If you're a little bit more fit, it could be a little bit higher. In all honesty, I can go at about 150 beats per minute, and I still can have a conversation. But we don't know. I might be producing some lactic acid, and we do know that I'm working a bit harder, so there's more stress on my joints. So there's really no reason for me to try and push the limits of this. We just want to get you into that zone 2. So my challenge to you all would be to experiment with this. If you have a wearable, see if you can push yourself into zone 2, even just by walking, a brisk walk. If you don't have a wearable, see if you can push yourself to what I would call uncomfortable nose breathing through brisk walking. It it will feel like, yes, it will be maybe uncomfortable breathing through your nose at that pace, but it will be a pace that probably feels really good. Like you're like, yeah, this is tough, but I feel good about myself, and I feel like I'd be willing to try and do a lot of this. And that's the key here. And that's also the trade off. You have to do a lot of it. Okay. So, I advertise this on Facebook as, the secret, right? The secret formula to building ultimate fitness. And it's true. It's easy. When you're doing this type of work, it's really easy. Most people will need to be slowed down. I need to wear my watch to go, dude, your heart rate is at 145, slow down. And you're going to think to yourself, but I want to go faster, because you're overachievers. You're going to think to yourself, I could go faster. You're going to think to yourself, I'm not going to get any results if I don't go faster. But that's all a lie. It's all opposite to the truth. Those mitochondria grow in that zone too. Okay. The mitochondria, think of it like as a network. So especially muscle mitochondria. If you Google mitochondria right now, it's going to show you this little oval type thing. Those are liver mitochondria, and that we just kind of use them for everything. But really, in the muscles, they're like little tentacles, like dendril or tendril type things that almost connect. Like when we think about, we're making the electricity analogy. Imagine sort of like neurons in the brain, right? Those axons, that wiring that goes out. That's kind of the way mitochondria are. And we can build this network that are communicating. They're linking together, and they're linking our tissues together so our muscles can do more work. This makes everything in life easier. When you're able to better harness energy, you're less fatigued. You have more energy for your brain, for focus at work. Your mental energy and stamina is better. When day-to-day life is less physically demanding, then it's less emotionally stressful. It's also allowing us to better, repair our body, not just from workouts, but in general, to live longer, to live healthier, less stress on the heart. And it is kind of infinite, right? So I made that analogy of plugging into the sun being representing that infinite source of energy. But we have an infinite source of energy that we are swimming in. It's invisible to us, like the sea is invisible to the fish, but we are bathing in oxygen, right? We have unlimited access to oxygen, at least as we know it today, knock on wood, God forbid. And so we just need to build the wiring inside of our body to utilize that oxygen. Repetitive, but I'm going to say it again. This only happens in zone 2, and it happens from consistent long exposure to being in zone 2. This is ancestral, right? We have, the hunter-gatherers, who were either foraging all day or hunting. If you look at like the Hadza, people go and visit the Hadza and they're like, these guys are like Olympians. But when they describe the Hadza and their perceived exertion, the Hadza do not perceive that they're exerting themselves. They're doing a light trot around the land to do these hunts. They have the wiring to do what they're naturally meant to do, was travel on foot. We as a species have been able to be nomads and travel from land to land by foot for a long time. This is an inherent evolutionary capability that we have, but it goes away. It goes away as quick as it comes. So you think about I'm trying to think about that neural link, these wirings all kind of connecting to each other, right? That comes through repetition, through long exposure. But if we start to become sedentary, our body is too overly efficient. It gets rid of anything that's extra, and so it starts to degrade that system down, because it's like we don't need all this wiring. So the wiring starts to disconnect and go dormant and go away. Okay, so we need to be consistent with it. So practically speaking, how should you go about this? I love the 10,000 step idea. There's not actually any magic that happens at 10,000 steps. There's no like actual studies out there that says like this is the perfect amount. But it is a great little goal. It's something that we all know about, and it is certainly enough if we're talking about achieving this. 10,000 steps equates to about 5 miles. Okay, so you do not need to go out and do a 5-mile walk all at one time. If you can, that'll be great. In fact, every Monday, right after this call, I go meet Andy and we do exactly that. We do 5 miles at a brisk pace. I've actually never tracked my heart rate. I only recently got this watch. So I plan to check my average heart rate today, and I'm going to set a goal with her to keep it into zone 2. We were going to try and keep it right at the bottom of zone 2. So like 120 beats per minute is going to be our goal, and see how long we can sustain that. But in reality, people don't realize how, I shouldn't say easy, but how achievable it is to actually hit 10,000 steps if you break it up. So we're coming up on the best time of year to achieve this goal. With the long days, end of spring is probably going to be the perfect time because it's not going to be overly hot at any point in the day. And I plan to integrate this with the 6-week challenge that's coming up. That's going to be for everybody in the gym, and I'm going to invite as many, tell your friends, and they can participate in this step challenge aspect of it for free, if they're even not a part of the in-gym 6-week challenge. But how you do is you break it up throughout the day. So if you think about it, you can walk a brisk walk. You can walk a mile in 15 minutes. We all have 15 minutes blocks that are free throughout the day. Not a lot of us have 60-minute blocks that are free throughout the day. Not a lot of us have 30-minute blocks that are free throughout the day, but a lot of us have 15-minute blocks that are free throughout the day. If you get up in the morning, set your alarm 15 minutes early, start your morning with a 15-minute walk. Sure, today was only 34 degrees out. Give it a couple weeks. But in my experience, a couple of years back, I would say like the best I was ever feeling, the happiest I ever was, most energy I ever had was when I was starting my day with a walk to the sunrise. And it was all kind of by coincidence. I just had that 6 a.m. hour open. I really wanted to get Dexter a walk every day. And so I would just roll out of bed, get Dexter on the leash, and we would walk to the end of the trail. And just by, maybe it was kismet or whatever, synchronicity, I just so happened that our turnaround point, the sun was coming up. And I was like, oh, this is really cool. So we just made a habit out of it. And I actually did it for 30 days straight. And I did it 40 times over that summer, where we would walk and watch the sunrise come up. And I can't tell you, I've never had more energy in my life doing that. That walk ended up being a 30-minute walk, but you could easily get up, do a 15-minute walk in the morning, take a late morning 15-minute break, take a walk, do an after lunch walk, do an evening walk, and for a lot of us, we'll actually have 30 minutes to an hour in the late evening where we can go do a walk again. It's a lot of walking, but you are going, with every walk, you're going to increase your energy. And that's why this call, I know this is like a nutrition call, But I almost want you to think about these walks as meals. Your reward is oxygen. Oxygen is energy. Oxygen is fuel. You're literally expanding your capacity to utilize the most innate fuel that we have. The most natural fuel that we have is oxygen. The consistency is what matters here in this adaptation. So it is important that we do these walks daily and that we do them frequently. With every walk, you will start to build that network. Again, of all the physical training adaptations, this is the one that happens really quick. So I'm not lying when I say at the end of every walk, you're actually going to improve, right? It's not like when we squat in here, yeah, you get gains for a couple of weeks or whatever, and then it's like you feel like you're just plateauing and sustaining, and then you have these breakthroughs. This is like, no, you're improving every time. There's a reason people can go from couch to marathon in 16 weeks, right? Like people do this all the time because the body will it will adapt on the daily basis. And a lot of these people would have better results if they would actually slow down. They would actually slow down. They would have much better results. For anybody who's interested in doing this for performance, you would want to structure your training on the 80-20 principle. So 80% of your training should be in this zone 2, which sounds crazy, right? You have this amazing goal for your marathon and you want to run it so fast, but you just got to go slow. Your pace doesn't even matter. You just do the pace that puts your heart rate in that zone. I don't care if it's walking. Do the pace where your heart rate's in that zone. If you're sore, then, I've got mobility programs that you can utilize that we're doing here in the gym. We can expand on that. And you can do alternatives like, treading water would be really awesome. That would be like the lowest impact. Riding a bike, getting on the rower. But most people are going to be able to walk pretty consistently. You'll adapt pretty quickly. And this, again, I want to stress, you want to just err to the lowest side of the zone 2. So that way we're not overstressing the joints. But you will make rapid adaptations. And what you will notice is just everything improving. You're going to notice an improvement in the gym. You're going to notice an improvement in your sleep. You're going to notice an improvement in your appetite, your metabolism. You're going to notice an improvement in your body composition. You're going to notice an improvement in your energy, your well-being, your mental energy. Like, I'm sorry for not talking about this before. Maybe I'm scared that y'all won't try and use me for for muscular training, for other training, because it is that good. And I know it's true, like from experience. I so many times reflected on when I went to basic training, I physically had a really easy time. Mentally, it was super tough and I was very worn out, like emotionally and all that. But physically, it was very easy. And I was always wondering why. But the summer before that, all I did was caddy. I was a golf caddy. I would hump a bag on each shoulder. There were probably 20 to 40 pounds each, anywhere in that range, depending on the golfer, if he was a good guy or not. Golfers that understood knew to lighten their bags up. And then you always had the guys who were just kind of selfish pricks, and they had these giant pro bags with 1,000 golf balls in them and extra clubs. It was like a 50-pound bag. But anyway, you would just go out and walk 4.5 miles up down hills, carrying bags every day, all summer. And I never really thought, I knew it was like good for me. I knew it was helping me, stay active and burn calories, but I don't think I understood what it was doing, building that mitochondria, building that aerobic base for the experience I was about to go on in the military. And in hindsight, it's kind of cool. I'm glad that I kind of luckily did that. And then to find out about the science later and be able to share that with you guys is really powerful. So anyhow, I have the Step Up app. I'll plug it into the chat, the text thread. I encourage you guys to hop on that. It's the best alternative I have right now for us to be all involved in a group on this. Andy and Angela are already in there kicking butt. Basically, it just links up with your phone or your watch, tracks your steps, and then we get to kind of see each other on a leaderboard together, and we can kind of poke each other and say, hey, time to walk, or good job, whatever you want to say. And there might be a better app out there. If you know of one, a way to link us all on a leaderboard, let me know. I'd hate to grow the group too big and then switch on y'all. But right now, it works really well with Apple products, and we have to be Facebook friends to be on the leaderboard together. But Lisa did get connected through Garmin, and I invited her on Facebook today. So hopefully that works and we can still be connected. But, you know, this might be a boring idea. I don't know if it's a boring idea to you guys or not. But it excites me so much. Like, I just wish that if I could get a movement around this, if starting with you guys, if we could get people to actually do this, to actually walk, spending time in the zone 2. For some people, maybe they're really fit and they'll need to jog to achieve that zone 2. And to do, 5 miles a day, I think we would create like the most incredible results of any fitness group that people have ever seen, and if you could do it on top of everything. Like if you're into CrossFit, it's going to make you a way better CrossFitter. If you're into powerlifting, it's going to make you a way better powerlifter. Whatever it is, it's going to enhance that. Like this is the superpower, and it just requires your time. That's the trade-off. And so I think if we can kind of harness each other's power and enthusiasm together, then we can do that, and we can do this and make great results. I want to see everybody get awesome results. So we'll do that. And anybody who ever watches the recording of this, just message me directly and I'll get you involved in that group. I'm going to take a pause there because I've gone on about this, but I really, really think it's so cool. It's so simple, but really incredibly powerful. Building your mitochondria. So guys, talk to me, please. Ask me some questions today. I want to hear from you.
Well, I was going to say one thing. I am not much of a walker, but I do like to garden and things like that. So, there are other activities that,
There are. And I don't want to certainly diminish zone 1. So gardening will likely be zone 1 for most people.
Okay.
But zone 1 is super important. Don't get me wrong. Like, I don't want to diminish that. And if that's your best alternative, by all means do that. My mission in life is to get people outside and moving around, and then ultimately feel like they're in a place where they want to come into the gym. And the aspect that with the gym that will not be achieved through walking is, building the integrity of your structures for that long life, so, building up your muscles and your bones so that you're not frail and you're able to continue gardening. That's what you're doing in here, Karen, with the strength is going to allow you to garden when you're 90 if you want to, right? Because you have to squat down and you have to get back up. The aerobic thing is just going to make the process here in the gym that much better, and it's going to make you feel like when you're sitting on the couch that you have the energy to get up and go out gardening. You don't have to jump into 5 miles. I mean, I challenge you to do 1 a day. I think if you do a 15-minute walk every day, you'll still see some of these benefits, and then maybe you'll want to do more at some point, maybe not. But set a goal that seems reasonable to you. I really think you'll notice a big difference.
Time to get a dog.
Yeah. Get a good dog. Get a golden retriever or Man, I see these people. So anybody, I should bring up a picture of my dog. I'm going to share a picture with you guys. Give me a second while I'm talking here. But yeah, I see these people out here whose dogs aren't even on the leash, which, by the way, does kind of annoy me, because just because your dog's good doesn't mean mine is. But, but I'm always so jealous. I'm like, look at that dog just following their owner around by the heel, no leash. Because if you have a puller, then it will just make your walking more frustrating than anything. It will get you out of bed in the morning, though. It will give you a no nonsense, no excuse reason to go out for that walk.
So Dennis, what about rebounding, like on a mini trampoline? Can you get into zone 2?
I think that could be really interesting. I know it's really good for your lymph.
Right.
And I would just be interested. That's where the wearable comes into play. If you could get your heart rate into that zone, I think it would be excellent. Yeah, I mean, you could jump rope, you could rebound. That would be really cool.
Cool. I've been doing that for, about 5 weeks now, and I've seen some changes in my body. I have more energy. I'm getting like 15,000 steps a day because the rebounding,
From the
that's the
rebounding.
steps. Yeah.
Interesting.
Well,
So it's
and then my CrossFit and other things, but
yeah. So it's feeding into everything else, right?
Right.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So is there a special trampoline for that? The rebounding?
There probably is. I just have one of the cheap ones. It's like, $38 or $40, but they, the professionals say you should have one that's made with cords and all that, but they're like $200. So anyway.
Got you. Yeah, I wasn't sure if there was like a specific rebounding. Okay, so here's Dexter. Can you guys see that?
Yeah, he's so cute.
Yeah. So yeah, he's kind of
It's 1 o'clock.
Kind of a beast. He's pretty big. He can pull pretty damn hard on the leash, but we still get a lot of good walks. But that adds a whole different element of strength and challenge. Poor guy. So this was our first place in Okinawa, and we would walk down to the beach and back every day. It was a 3-mile full round trip walk, and we would jump in the ocean. And so long story short, the salt water and the salty air was not really great for his skin. He's got the double coat. He actually looks pretty clean here. And that salt just gets deep in that coat and just never gets out. So he ended up getting a couple ear infections, and he was pawing at his ears, and his ears burst. So he now has 2 floppy ears. So sad. So this is nice, young, spry Dexter with his pointy ears. Poor guy. But yeah, this was at Hanscom Air Force Base, the dog park. Our house was right here across from the dog park.
Oh, we're still seeing the picture of Dexter sitting on the couch.
Oh, okay. I guess it won't switch pictures with me. That's all right. Anyhow, I just wanted to share him. He's cute, and he's something else on the leash. So I don't know if I would ever do it again. I'd love to help, continue the lineage of Akitas because they are so rare. But I might do like a German Shepherd or something next time. Yeah, so what do you think? You guys want to join me on Step Up? Who's in?
So I accepted your Facebook friendship thing, and I still can't see you on my Step Up app. So I'll work on it this afternoon. I may have to log in to Facebook on my phone so that it, like both of them are open at the same time.
Maybe.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
We're out of we've surpassed my technology knowledge.
Well, unfortunately, me too. I need a technology manager. um, but we're getting there. Well,
Yep.
one way or the other, we're going to figure it out. Okay, so Matt connected with me. Interesting. Matt, are you still on the call? Oh, he dropped off. Oh, he's here. Hey, Matt, how did you connect with me? He's working out right now. Interesting.
So it's an app?
It's an app, so I see it here like this. I hope Angela and Andy don't mind me sharing their step count for the day. So we see the little leaderboard here.
Okay.
It's called Step Up.
Step Up.
Step Up. I'll send an invite right now into our group, actually.
Okay.
But the invite is it's just a link. So it'll just have you download the app. It'll have you connect to Facebook, connect to your device. And then it seemed like we just auto-connected with Andy and Angela. I don't know if it's still just the Garmin thing, Lisa, or what's going on. So we'll try and
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't mess with it too much. I just opened it up during the call when you started talking about steps to see if I could link in with everybody, and it's not doing it yet. So I'll figure it out after we're done.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. So you guys have any questions about like the mitochondria or anything like that? So there's one other thing that improves mitochondria, and that's actually intermittent fasting. That will really improve the health of your mitochondria. So I guess doubling down on like sort of the fasted morning walk and eating in that eating window will really kind of compound the adaptations we're trying to get. So Matt commented.
Is it 16/8 intermittent fasting?
Whatever you can achieve. 16/8 is good. I like 16/8. So I've been shooting for a 6-hour window, 12 to 6. And then I usually bust it. So it usually becomes like an 8-hour window. So, I like to, I'd rather do that, but it just depends on your personality style. Like I'm, if I need to get up at 5:15, I set my alarm for 5. Some people say that that's not the right way to live your life, but whatever works. I did listen to somebody recently talking about snoozing though, and just how every time the alarm goes off, it's like a not a heart attack, but it's like a little mini adrenaline rush. It's actually pretty stressful event on the heart. So I might work on that, but regardless, I get out of bed on time in the morning. And if I set my eating window for 6 hours and achieve 8, I'm happy in the long run. But yeah, however you want to go about it. My wife has been doing 1 meal a day for the last 6 months and lost an incredible amount of weight. I actually wish she would eat a little bit more, work out a little bit more, but I'm very happy for her, and it definitely works. Definitely works if you shorten that window, big time. Yeah. So Matt said it automatically connected when it automatically linked us when he connected to Facebook. Oh, so in your app also, Lisa, you need to go connect to Facebook.
Yeah, I thought I did that, but it's still, I may have to then leave and log in because I'm not logged into Facebook on my phone. So that might be the glitch
that's probably the final piece.
Yeah.
Just log in.
I'll get in there.
You don't have to download the app. Log in from your browser. That's how I do it. I don't.
Oh, really?
I don't need all that data usage on my phone. I don't love Facebook that much either.
Yeah.
So I just logged into my browser and it worked.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll do that then. I have to look up my password. I don't remember what it is.
All right. Well, that's all I got. So as always, I'm grateful that you all come and let me, have ears to share the things that I find really interesting. I do my best to make them interesting for you. And a lot of it is just experiencing it, really. Sometimes it's like trying to describe a land that only you've been to. Not that you guys have never been fit before or anything like that, but if you were to take on these challenges, whether it be the fasting, whether it be the walking, whatever, I do promise that you will feel great, and then you'll be like, oh yeah, I understand now. I understand why Dennis, goes on about this and talks about it. And so anyway, so I challenge you to embrace it and give it a try. And I am confident that you'll get the results because the science is there. The science is in.
All right, we'll do it.
Sounds good. Okay, well, I will see you guys next week or sooner in the gym. And y'all have a great Monday.
Thanks, Dennis.
You
See you
too.
later.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.